Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Joe Emilio Show. I hope you guys are doing splendid this Friday evening. I normally don't stream on a Friday, but, um, it's, I would say unprecedented times, but I don't think that's even an appropriate way of putting it. But it's just, I don't know. I've been theorizing a lot about what is happening at the moment in South Africa, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join. For those of you that are watching, you'll notice that I've pinned a comment in the live stream. It's not a joke. Go to Ronaldo's stream and tell people to just come here because I'm better, and I don't constantly ask for super chats. Ronaldo, if you ever watch this, sorry, buddy. Just a fun bit of banter, but ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. In just a few moments, I'm going to share some theories that I have, and I think you're going to find it very interesting. The kind of stuff that I'm looking into and the angles that I'm going with. So, if you're new to this channel, please give a like and subscribe. Please, that'd be greatly appreciated. And also check out the Telegram channel where you get updates of all my upcoming uploads and live streams. And yeah, super chats is optional, just letting you know. And yeah, I will be streaming the president's little nation address or whatever it is he wants to call it. But I'm going to share with you guys a few things. I'm going to rant a little bit. You know, if there's anybody watching right now that doesn't like Cyril, you've come to the right place, because on this channel I definitely criticize the president quite a lot, and I've been saying it for the longest time. He's not my president. And I watched an interview earlier on ENCA. Well, it wasn't really an interview. It was a PR campaign, really, of him going to KZN and seeing the damage and all that stuff, and giving a few comments. And there were some interesting things that happened during that interview, which I'm going to show and pinpoint to you guys. And we've got about... I'll show you guys right now. We've got about 40-ish minutes, just over 40 minutes until the president was set to address. So I'm ready. I am ready. As soon as he starts, we'll start keeping an eye on this, maybe closer to the time. But before we get there, ladies and gentlemen, again, tell people on Ronaldo's stream to come here. It's a lot better. Hashtag just saying. Anyway, all right. I got a lot to get through. So I'm just going to put my tinfoil hat on. Okay. Hello, Tammy. Thank you for joining. So if you like tinfoil hat theories, ladies and gentlemen, boy, do I have a doozy for you. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay? So... a lot of theories at the moment. A lot of theories going around about what is going on in South Africa. And here's the thing, guys. If I've learned anything over the past years of my existence on the face of the planet, don't trust mainstream media. Don't trust everything the government says. Actually, don't trust anything the government says. And learn to sift through the just bombardment of information that is thrown at you. I think there's some truths in everything that is being said, and it is up to you to gather as much information as you can and then ask questions and try and figure it out. Behave saying, Joe Emilio, last night's show was brilliant. Thanks for the epic laughs. You're welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in. So yeah, Tammy. Sorry, guys. Okay. So, I think the best way to start here is earlier today, if you haven't followed me yet on Twitter, please do so. Link to this thread is in the description. I put out quite a big thread this today. And I had just been thinking a lot, and I wanted to put it on paper. And I want to see, I want this to exist on Twitter, and I want to see what in the future that of my predictions came true. Now, you'll see there I said, look, this is a tinfoil hat theory. If you enjoy these, let's go on this adventure together. And I don't trust the ANC, so I'm questioning everything. And I wanted to start from when NDZ banned cigarettes. To me, That's a very important part. Why? Well, there's a number of reasons, all right? We know that she rubs shoulders with Mazzotti, who is a self-confessed smuggler, fraudster, and money launderer. Okay, he's confessed this. Okay, and there's some links to all these things as well. And yes, he's denied the allegations. Of course, he's denied the allegations. Of course, when the cigarette was banned, and they asked him, like, "Are you behind it? Are you persuading the ANC to ban cigarettes?" He's like, "No, I have nothing to do with it. It's hurting my business." Blah 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 blah. So obviously, he denied it, right? But interesting article here, which is this one from, and it was from Jack Poe or Pow or Poe. I'm not sure how to pronounce his Jock Poe, investigative journalist, right? And he said some pretty important things I feel that we cannot ignore. For example, he said we have to look at the politics. We all know in which camp NDZ is. There is a nexus between her, Ace Magashule, and the EFF. Why did NDZ and the Command Council do it? Because they haven't given us any good reason yet, and until today they haven't. As a matter of fact, the I want to address this. You are better than Ronaldo. See, Ronaldo, if you ever watch this, boom. All right, so so basically, yes, the ban on cigarettes, that ruling has been overturned. It has been, she went for an appeal, and it was granted. So that also, sparked a lot of controversy, a lot of questions. Why is this happening? And now you got to ask yourself, how much money did the ANC make? And again, this is allegedly make, with the cigarette ban. I mean, come on, we're you're not we can't be that stupid, like, we can't prove it. Jock Poe can't prove it, but he's pretty certain that the ANC had something to do and was benefiting from that cigarette ban. And it's, again, all allegedly. But it is known that Mazzotti has funded the EFF. This is not rumors. This is not speculation. As a matter of fact, the EFF spokesperson came out and said that he had donated 200,000 Rand towards registering the party in 2014, which, of course, now paints an interesting picture when you see Mazzotti with Juju and you see Mazzotti with NDZ rubbing shoulders with these people. Makes things very interesting. Now, I'm mentioning this because we have to remember that time, because, like I said, allegedly the ANC could have made billions and billions and billions of Rand during that time period. And you have to wonder, yes, probably it was split with their cadres and a lot of people benefited and budgeted, but I'm pretty sure a large amount of it was just in case they needed to do a propaganda campaign, or they needed to do, I don't know, some kind of country, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Destabilization. So yeah, that's where my theory kind of begins. Now, with that in mind, we fast forward through the lockdown. Everybody's upset, everybody's angry. We've lost loved ones, we've lost livelihoods. I've lost a business, and horrible things have happened to me and other people. We're all suffering. We're all on edge. We're all stressed out. And we have two camps in this world right now: those that, or in South Africa, those that will follow and abide by ANC and worship them, and then there's the ones such as myself and other individuals that will try and wake up people and say, hey, don't listen to everything mainstream media tells you, and wake up to what is happening. And it makes people on edge. Meanwhile, the Zondo Commission moves forward to put pressure on to hold appearances and make it look like they are dealing with corruption, and the noose is kind of tightening on Zuma, if you will. But then two important meetings happen: a meeting between Zuma and Beketele, and a meeting with Zuma and Juju. Now, those meetings really, 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 really make me question everything. All right? We don't know. Nobody knows exactly why these meetings happened. But I think that these meetings were not to plan anything. I highly doubt that they sat at those meetings and planned anything. I think alliances were made. That's what I think happened. Certain deals were made, like a conversation like, oh, I'm probably going to go to jail, Becky. Becky says, yeah, you probably are, because I can't really, we have to uphold the law. So Zuma says, okay, well then can you wait until the last possible moment to arrest me? Those kind of conversations would happen. And what if Zuma was having these kind of conversations where he was like, okay, well, what would happen? Like maybe he told Becky, like, that if you arrest me, shit's gonna happen. And Becky was like, yeah, well, maybe we'll deal with it. I don't know. The meeting with Becky, Tele, and Zuma really worries me more than anything else, and I'll get back to that in a moment. So I think that's what the meetings were about. And now questions about Becky Tele for me. Why did he not enforce the law immediately? We've got to ask ourselves this, since in every event that transpired from when the Concourt asked or told or basically requested for Zuma's arrest, Becky Tele was very quiet, slow to move, waited until the final minute to do really anything. He didn't say much, and even during the riots, he wasn't really around. Only recently, in the past 2-3 days, did he really come out and say stuff and start to, be in the scene. And you'll see here, something very interesting is Sky News caught up with him, and they were asking him questions. He refused to answer any of them. He didn't answer one. They were asking him, do you feel that you've lost control? Because it looks like you have. And he didn't say anything. And it makes me wonder why. Why didn't Cyril answer? And he's happy to answer any questions from ENCA or SABC, not a problem for him. But when it comes to Sky News, he doesn't. And it makes me wonder about the international image that the ANC is trying to uphold. Which is why I think as well, and I think I may have skipped it. No, I didn't. Okay, good. Let me just, okay, it's coming. So I think the international image for the ANC is very, very, very important. And that's why he didn't say anything, because if he slipped on anything or if he spoke on anything, it would probably not be good for the ANC. So he kept his mouth shut. And we know Becky Tele likes to talk. He does love the cameras. So that was a very interesting point and time for me. And I don't trust Tele at all. Okay, like I say here, it feels like Tele kept the law from Zuma for as long as possible, and I believe leading up, or the week leading up to Zuma's arrest, was the most important week, and this is why. I'm willing to bet that Zuma looked at his son in his son's eyes and asked, "Is it all set?" in a cinematic style way. As soon as the son shed a tear and replied, "I won't fail you, Papa." But of course, this could be my imagination getting the better of me. But I do imagine that it was probably a moment like that. Anyway, he's arrested and all hell breaks loose. His children are seen egging people on. And then I think we all start to have that conversation of state of emergency. Maybe this is what they want. And I did think that for a bit, but I'm starting to think differently. I had a conversation with 3 gentlemen 2 nights ago. I encourage everyone to go watch it. It is linked in the description below. Very interesting conversation. And Mark Oppenheimer made a very good point about state of emergency. And it is this. ANC won't institute state of emergency. They would show weakness, and it would not be good in the eyes of the international interest. So instead, they send the golden boy out to keep up the image as if he is on top of things. Of course, he isn't. And again, that is why we're seeing Cyril on the ground of KZN. That's why we're seeing Cyril tonight. And I'm gonna come back to this. Remember that. Remember the international image that they need to uphold. You'll see hints of it in almost every speech that he does. But now people are starting to call for Cyril to step down. Hashtag Cyril must resign is trending. It was trending yesterday, which obviously doesn't look good for Cyril. So now what does Cyril do? He thinks of the Sinister 12. Well, the ANC, the current ANC in power, the faction that is in power at the moment thinks of the Sinister 12. I call them the Sinister 12, where the media releases information about 12 individuals who could be behind the riots and some of the targeted attacks on infrastructure. Now, I do believe there was some planning and strategic decisions being made. However, I find it hard to believe that this was all planned out step by step, months in advance. I find that very hard to believe. I think what happened is, yes, the ANC was warned. There is leaked audio, I've linked it in that Twitter thing. There is linked audio where the ANC say that they were warned. But we all know how some governments work when they want to use a crisis to their advantage. So I believe that during the course of them doing this whole Zondo Commission and Zuma doing his thing, and they started to hear these warnings from Intel, they were like, let's sit on it. Let's see what happens. Let's use this as an opportunity. They were planning step by step. All right. This opportunity arose and they decided to grab a hold of it. That's what I think happened. Okay. That's my opinion. And yeah, I don't think that the ANC is smart enough to 2 years ago, since this whole lockdown began, was smart enough to think, yeah, this is where it's going to lead to. It's going to lead to a riot on July 2021. That's what's going to happen. No, I don't believe that for one bit. I don't think this was heavily planned in advance. So I think that's what happened. Then there's claims of a WhatsApp group coming out that allegedly. Well, I guess it's fact now. I don't have to say allegedly, but people that basically planned the entire thing a day before all hell broke loose. That's weird for me. A day before all hell broke loose, you mean to tell me you organized buses to take people there? You organized the targets. You organized everybody's little group and where they were going to attack. You organized everything in one day in one group. It sounds too good to be true, especially when some of these people they've interviewed are native South Africans, right? They've been in South Africa probably their whole lives. They don't know English that well, and some of these messages are well written in English, and that's okay, fine, maybe that's not something, but it does make you wonder, how convenient is it that you find this group that basically has all the answers and 12 people behind this, right? I don't know. To me, I'm questioning, like I said at the beginning of this thread, I'm questioning everything. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is very probable, very possible that this group was made the day before, all these people got together, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it was planned before and then they made the group and then they expressed their plans on the group. That's a possibility, but it's just almost one of those things that are just too good to be true. And that's why I question this one. This feels like the ANC doing counterintelligence in order to control the narrative, because like I said earlier, Cyril's being made to look bad by the Zuma faction. So what does the team Cyril do? Well, let's try and create a fall people. Let's try and create and make it out to look like Zuma is the instigator. Zuma's the one. The team Zuma are the problem. All right? And I don't trust Cyril. I don't trust Sele, and I don't trust Cyril, obviously. I feel like he's playing sides, and I'm going to explain why in a moment. It feels like he's Littlefinger from Game of Thrones, and you can see the little gif I have there. He's just not as smart. Now, I actually ran out of thread, and I had to continue this thread on another thread. So, but we see here, Sele says he found ammo, and that the other side wants to go to war. When he speaks about the other side, he means the Zuma faction. And this is why I don't trust him. It feels like he's playing science. He had a meeting with Zuma. Now, again, I'm not saying that he planned all this. But remember, conversation about alliance. I feel like he's either playing signs or there's something else happening in play that I just can't figure out yet. And as we've seen, the propaganda machine starts to kick into full gear. I don't think there's a coup. There's enough evidence to support my theory on this. I'm going to get to an article in just a moment. As a matter of fact, I'll go to it now. This is a letter. It's in essay socioeconomic situation We must seek an explanation for this week's events. This is written by Franz Cornier from IRR and Center for Risk Analysis. And in this article, there are a few things that I don't agree with him. However, I do agree with his sentiment that this was not planned, or it was not a coup or whatever, or even an attempted coup. Maybe an insurrection of sorts, but not a coup. Look, let's face it, guys. There's a few things that need to happen for a coup, all right? The army needs to be on your side, and the police need to be on your side, which is not happening. So an insurrection, maybe. Destabilization of the country, yes, absolutely, possible. But a coup, no. And the EFF are definitely not as smart as you give them credit to be, for those of you who think EFF are behind this. I mean, they got their asses handed to them at Brackenfell, which we all witnessed. A friend of mine, Kaketso, made the point of that also on this show. So when we were discussing that, so I don't think there's a coup at all. So the one thing that I know for a fact is that when people say they've been planning this for years, the ANC, what I think they've been planning for years is the socialist communist agenda. We've heard the president at the beginning of this year thank South African Communist Party for being an integral part of the ANC policies. This is something that even Natasha Matsone and Helen Zille have confirmed on this show. And it should worry everybody. And that's the end goal. That's what they've been planning. That is what they've been planning for years. But what is happening right now is I think they did see maybe some kind of explosion or riot happening. And they've been waiting for it. They've been anxiously waiting for it. 27 years of a failure of state. Your SEOs are bankrupt. Your law enforcement doesn't work. Your healthcare is in the gutter. Education in the gutter. People are getting poorer. Infrastructure is falling apart. And now you have lockdowns where millions, if not thousands of people have lost their jobs, their livelihoods. Friends and family are dying from both the disease and also just from losing their livelihoods. People are on edge. This was a powder keg waiting to happen. And that is something I do agree with Franz Cornier on his analysis of that. It was just the perfect situation for all this to happen, and I think the ANC was just hoping for it, not necessarily knowing when it was going to happen, and they had an idea of where they would want to go if this did happen. And now, in this clip, you hear Ramaphosa say that he would rather be seen as a weak president than tear the ANC apart, which is an interesting thing that he said. And I want you guys to remember that, because to me, this has, and I say this down here, this, in my opinion, is all about the elections, because the ANC knows that they have lost a lot of support over the past year and even 2 years. And this is like a People's War 2.0. Factions or no factions, either way, whichever faction wins, the ANC is still in power. Now, there are some wild cards that you guys can take into consideration. What if this is KZN seceding from South Africa? That's a possibility. I'm not ruling that out. What if we are witnessing the fall of the ANC only to be replaced by a new dawn party, but plot twist, it's a Trojan horse. So in other words, the party that is painted out to be the new dawn, oh look, a new party's coming in, South Africa's going to be different, is actually going to implement the same thing that the ANC wanted to implement, Trojan horse. And then the third thing is, a wild card, is Herman Mashaba. I'm not sure what to make of him. Herman Mashaba, if you ever watch this, I've invited you on my show. I want you to come on to my show. I want to have a conversation with you. But I don't trust you, and I don't trust any politicians. Don't take that personally. I don't trust any politician. But I still like to engage you guys and talk to you guys. It's fun. And I have respect for a lot of the politicians out there, except for Julius Malema and Cyril, and anyone in the ANC, and anyone in the EFF. But Herman Mashaba, like, suing Cyril and some of the ANC members is interesting to me. I don't know what to make of it. It could be part of the plan. It could be the Trojan horse. It could be, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it is all that part of the ploy to get Cyril out of power and probably people in the cabinet will say vote of no confidence. I don't know. Now, a lot of people will speculate, well, if Cyril's going to be kicked out of power, then who's going to take his place? Well, there's NDZ. Ace Magashule could come back. Remember that cigarette thing, Mazati, Ace Magashule, NDZ, Juju. Just saying, these guys go way back. And now a meeting with Zuma and Tsele, a meeting with Zuma and Juju. You know, I'm just saying there's something there. And I think that, one thing is clear, that this is all about elections. It's nothing but elections. The ANCs know that they're weakening, and they're going to try and twist this as much as possible to make it look like they're coming in to save the day. And this is my prediction. ANC remains in power by a ball hair, and uses the events of the past week to justify the start of radical transformation under the guise that it will fix the country and restore the country, which it won't. Poverty is the great equalizer, as said by Captain Pillay on this show as well. Now, again, I want to disclaim that this is just a thread with my analysis or tinfoil hat theories of what we are witnessing. I'm not saying that, everything is speculation at this point. Okay, I'm wearing the tinfoil hat, guys. Okay, but I will say this. I got some interesting replies, and some things at the moment are actually in support of my theory. For one, Free Market Foundation put out this tweet earlier saying, while the economy crumbles, labor unions want to put even more pressure on taxpayer and introduce a basic income grant. No, we need a free market. We need employment. No more welfare. Now, the basic income grant is a very communist, socialist agenda that they're trying to push. And we're seeing more people talking about that now. Again, ANC coming in and saying, okay, we'll give you that income grant that you want so badly. We'll give it to you. We'll save South Africa, So again, going back to that, this is what they want. This is how they're going to twist it. And I really think that that's basically what is going to happen. Now, like I said, I wanted to show you guys some, let's just see here. Yeah, okay, we're still good on the whole Cyril front. So I wanted to show you guys, just let me get ready here. Yes. Some clips, okay? And these won't take long. We'll be done before Cyril is speaking to us. But yeah, more or less, those are my theories. And I think, as I will point out, the one big thing that is happening is I actually want to try and steer away from the faction discussion, because I think that actually doesn't matter. I think that's a distraction. Because at the end of the day, the ANC is going to use this opportunity to say, we need change, we need something different, and we're going to move forward with our radical transformation. That's what I think is the ultimate goal, and what they've been planning for years. And they're trying to maybe push that in now. Use this as an opportunity. Because either way, it's a win-win for them. But again, you got to take into consideration those wildcards that I explained earlier. That could backfire on the ANC. But something the president said today when he was at KZN that I found very interesting. Now, the first part is more me just ranting, because I'm very pissed off about what he said now. So have a listen.
Yes, security forces have tried the very best that they could. I've been talking to our officers here, our provincial commissioner, the minister, and the others. Yes, we could have done better, but we were overwhelmed by a situation, and primary in the minds of the Minister of Police and the commanders was to save lives.
Yeah, so you heard correctly. They tried, but they were overwhelmed. Well, Mr. President, maybe if you didn't spend most of your presidency and deputy presidency, whatever you want to call it, stealing and looting from the country and paying more attention to the infrastructure, putting things in place so that you'd have a proper law enforcement that were properly trained, a proper army, all that stuff, maybe you wouldn't have been overwhelmed. Maybe. more lives would have been saved. Or hell, maybe if you did what you're supposed to do as a leader and provide and build this country up to give opportunity for every South African to live, maybe then, maybe if you abandoned your BEE policies that only benefit the cadres and your chums in the ANC, maybe if you abandoned EWC, and maybe if you didn't have that stupid agenda about the gun bill rights, maybe more people would have been saved. Maybe this whole crisis would have been averted. But then you got to ask yourself, why didn't they? And then it becomes clear that this is what they want. And now they're going to spin it. This is what he's doing right now. This was a PR campaign to spin the situation. I'll point out something else in the next clip. But this clip is also very interesting because if you watch the full video, which is painful to watch, by the way, I accidentally clipped this out, but it is there if you watch the full video. The reporter that's going to ask him a question now, which unfortunately ENCA for some reason was having some technical difficulties. You can't hear the whole question. But the reporter basically says, he asked the question, Mr. President, ordinary citizens have taken the law into their own hands. Video cuts a bit, and then you hear him say, why did it take so long to secure these regions? Very important question. Why did it take so long to secure these regions? All right, that's what the reporter asked. Listen to what Ramaphosa, or how Ramaphosa answers that question.
Mr. President, ordinary citizens have taken the law in their hands, and they feel
like I said,
by
the
the
cutting is
state.
insane.
Why did it take so long to secure these regions?
Yes, ordinary citizens have felt that they need to defend their areas, to defend their assets, and we welcome the fact that ordinary citizens are working together with the security forces, are standing up not only to defend their own assets, but they're also defending our democracy, because they can see that this is an assault on the democratic situation that we have in our country. So they are standing up, and we applaud that our people themselves see that there is a lot at stake, and the instigators want to spread instability in the country, and we don't know what their full and true intentions are, but the democratic state is what our people are defending, as well as their assets. So yes, we have said that we could have acted quicker, but they are now joining hands with us as the state, working together. Now many of our people are working together, the religious community, the business community, ordinary people in their homes, in the streets of our country. They are now cleaning up the country, cleaning up the towns, and which demonstrates that the intentions of the instigators is failing, has actually failed, because it is our people who are coming now to the defense of all our people, working together with government, but also coming to the defense of our democracy.
All he did was he waffled. And remember, the question was, I'm going to repeat the question that the CNN reporter said. Now, that's very important. CNN reporter asked, Mr. President, ordinary citizens have taken law into their own hands. The video cuts, as you saw, and then you hear, why did it take so long to secure these regions? He didn't answer the question. He just said, yes, they are taking law into their own. They're trying to defend, and immediately goes with the angle of, the citizens are working together with the government. They all came together. What's this creating? A positive spin on what actually happened, because he refuses to allow or to say what the actual answer is, which is the answer he should have said was, well, the ANC has failed the country because we have been stealing from the people. That's what he should have said. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the manpower. We don't have nothing, because citizens had to come out of their homes, right, to protect their communities. They were giving ammo to the police. They were giving intel to the police. All right. And I absolutely love the citizens that came out with legal firearms, and they just protected their community and their property. Those guys are heroes. And I warned people on Twitter, be careful, because the ANC will twist that and try and make it into a PR campaign for themselves, saying, oh, we worked together with our community to make sure people were safe. It's unfortunate that people died, but it could have been much worse, and we were just so happy to see people come and help. It was great to see South Africa united. BS. Absolute BS. But again, it goes back to the point I made earlier that Cyril and the ANC must uphold their image to the international community. It is imperative that they do. All right? Now, the final clip that I want to share as we move closer, let me just double check here. Are we still good? Yeah, we've got 8 minutes. Perfect. The next clip isn't going to take that long. But it is just under a minute. And now I want you guys to listen to what the reporter here, this is now Cyril leaving, but the reporter says quite some interesting things. And one thing in particular that I want to point out.
By this, well, diplomatic as always, but we did put some questions to him about his statements regarding what he termed ethnic mobilization. He seems to be withdrawing that and retracting that. Look at the amount of security accompanying the president here. You can tell that this is the man who is under siege. This is a man who's been missing in action when his country has been burning. He is even coming here to one of the lesser affected malls in KwaZulu-Natal. I'm talking about Bridge City. He's not going to Pietermaritzburg. He's not going to Phoenix, only leaving that to his Police Minister, General Peggy Cele. The question is, what's next now? How is he going to rebuild this country that has been ravaged by what clearly government downplayed and took it for granted?
All right, so there's a few important things there, and I want to make something very clear. I do think South Africa was united, but it wasn't united with ANC. We came together as a people and protected our communities and our families and our property, and I think that was great. But the way that the ANC is going to try and spin it is that, oh, we were united with the people. No, you were not. You failed the people miserably, not just now, but in the past 27 years. Now, having said that, a few things that this reporter just said, okay? Cyril was at one of the less affected malls in KZN. Really? Really? You go to one of the less infected or affected malls in KZN? Really? You coward? And then when he's asked, are you going to the other places? He says, no, Becky Taylor is going to do that. Okay, you coward. Absolute coward. This was all a PR stunt. All of it, a PR stunt. He won't go to other places. Why? Why, Mr. President? Are you scared? What are you scared of? I thought you were just boasting about how you're one with the people and how the government works with the people, but you went to the least affected area or one of the least affected malls. Then let's not mention the whole security that you have around you. Gee, and you know that Becky said they wanted to disarm people and cause problems with the whole gun amendment bill or amendment to the gun bill. But yet you, you with your 100, with your army, your own personal army, you are not one with the people, Mr. President, and you never will be. You are a sham and a fake. But another very, very, very important thing. Did you hear when the reporter said, how is Cyril going to rebuild this country? That, again, coming back to the ANC swooping in and saying everything that has happened in the past is, and they will use this as an excuse, apartheid's fault, it's capitalism's fault, it's all this eye-rolling excuses that we've heard 1,000 times before, which are not true. They will deflect from the actual problem because the government or ANC, to them, is never wrong. And they will use this as an opportunity to say we need radical transformation in every way, shape, or form. They will reach into the pension funds if they have to. They will do everything that you have been warned from, not just from channels like mine, but Ronaldo, Chris Wyatt, Big Daddy Liberty, Ramon, Morning Shot, CRA, Center for Risk Analysis, and IRR, especially, and Free Market Foundation. We have about 4 minutes left. So I just wanted to point this stuff out, guys. I wanted to show you how, if you read between the lines and you sift through the information, you can see some truth. Now, I did want to show an article, but I don't think there's enough time. Let me just see if I can pop it up quickly. No, there isn't, but it's an article going around now. Again, it's an article about what's happening next. Is there more destabilization? Are the riots just the beginning? I'm sure you would have seen this from the South African. And again, it's just propaganda machine. Make ANC look good. Make ANC look like they're trying to fight this, right? It's not our fault. It's not the ANC's fault. It's Zuma. Zuma's now gone crazy and has all these people and his spies trying to create destabilization, which could be true, could not be true. But at the end of the day, remember that ANC during apartheid times, and I want you guys to go and watch Tainted Heroes. It was made by Afriform. Now, I don't care what you guys think of Afriform. Just watch the damn freaking documentary because it's based on facts, it's interviews, and it's very interesting. And there's a lot of Soviet influences there's a lot of Soviet influence that the ANC takes from. And the Soviet Union was very good at destabilizing a nation. And we could be witnessing that now. Why? Because it's elections, because the ANC wants to try and win. They don't care about who's president. They really don't. I don't think this has to do with Cyril or Zuma. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it's got to do with the ANC staying in power. That is all it's ever been about. That is all it will ever be about. And we have to be so careful with what we are seeing in mainstream media, with what we are being fed. I don't trust mainstream media because, again, Zuma had a meeting with Cele. If the cops are saying they found something, how do we know that's true? How do we know? We're supposed to just be like, oh, okay. Because remember, for years we knew that South Africa was corrupt, right? We knew that. A lot of people knew about it, that South Africa was corrupt for years. But only when mainstream media started to talk about it did something start to happen. Zondo Commission, all that stuff. Why? Only when mainstream media, it's almost like the ANC says, okay, we can't avoid it now, so let's tell the mainstream media so that people can talk about it and we can make it look like we're doing something about it. That's literally how it feels. So that's why I don't trust everything I see and I question everything. And these are my general theories on what could possibly be going on right now. And a few people agree with me. We just don't know which direction it's going to go in. And you can leave a comment and let me know what you think. In the comment section if you're watching this after the fact. I am probably going to clip this part of the video and release it separately. So if you see it, please share it. I think it's interesting. And look, I could be completely wrong. But I don't know. Something just tells me that's what this is all about. Yeah. So anyway, just in time to see, and let's see if we can pick up some of the. And I'm not going to troll the president tonight. I want to listen because I want to see if any hints of my theories come out tonight. Because again, you can pick up on these clues every now and again. If he talks about, we need to change things with how things are done, that's a clue. I don't know there's a rumor going around that he might resign tonight. I highly, highly doubt that. I highly, highly doubt that. But yeah. And we wait. I don't know if he's going to be on time. It says that they're waiting for ENC. I just want to also check and see if SABC, because ENCA isn't always good with their streaming. So let's see if... And again, guys, if you're watching Ronaldo, tell the people that are watching Ronaldo to come join us here. Oh, has it started? Is something happening? Why isn't it playing? Oh, it streamed 5 days ago. Never mind. I don't see anything on SABC. Alright, I'll just stay on ENCA then. And we will see. I'm going to refresh it just in case. Nothing so far. Someone asking me to increase. It's probably because my microphone's kind of far from me. How's that now, George? Is that okay? Sorry that my mic was far, or I was far from the mic. Is that better? Jeez, I hope you guys could hear me during my tinfoil hat moment. Let me see what some of you guys are saying. Cyril will be late. Show the article. If we witnessing, let me see. Thought-provoking indeed. Thank you, JC. Lazar is saying, if we are witnessing that now, then Cyril admitted it failed because the people got together and defending their democracy. Reading between the lines. Yeah, you could see it that way, I guess. So, yeah. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and drop a super chat. That'd be cool. Yanni saying we can hear you. That's good. Thank you, Yanni. Hope you and Reese are doing well. Thank you for watching. Yeah, so I don't know. I put out that tweet earlier, which has a lot of what I just said, and people seem to somewhat agree, which is cool. I don't know. I've been following this very closely, and like I said, there's some things that has happened in the past in the lockdown that I feel, we can't ignore and we can't forget about. I think there are clues as to what is currently going on. And one thing is for sure, and one thing that everybody agrees on, is that the ANC doesn't want to lose power. So they will do whatever they can to keep in power. And you got to remember that, and you've got to have or look at it in that kind of lens. Now there are other theories that are very out there and deeper in the rabbit hole, if you will, which I don't know. I mean, there's a possibility in everything, I guess. But yeah, I don't see that happening. Or I don't see some of these theories that are coming out happening. I think people are just trying to stir, like, for example, the coup theory, or there was a coup. That's not happening. You guys are giving way too much credit to the EFF or any other party for that matter. There might have been an attempted coup. They might have been for a very short moment, but again, you need the army, you need the police to be on your side for that to happen. You need to overthrow the government. That's not happening. This is definitely an attempt to destabilize the state, and unfortunately, the South African citizens are going to suffer for quite a while from this, which is what they want, which is what Cyril wants. I mean, again, the more we suffer, the more they can push out their socialist agendas. So yeah. Nabila, good to see you again. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, we are safe. We are safe. Some crazy stuff happening in South Africa at the moment. Sunil has joined us as well. Thank you, Sunil, for joining in. Mario is also here. I'm good. How are you, Mario? Good to see you again. Good to see you. All the nice people are here. Again, go to Ronaldo and tell everybody who's watching to come here. They missed a good tinfoil hat session. So yeah, Sunil saying the ripple effect is insane. Yes, if you get a chance, please go check out Center for Risk Analysis, their recent video that came out, where an economist was talking about the ripple effect of what has happened. Guys, I'm sorry to say, but it's some scary, scary stuff. I mean, we thought we were, in trouble from the lockdowns. Woo! It's bad. It's bad. But again, they'll say, yeah, we need money. We need money now because of these riots. People are upset. So they'll do the basic income grant. They'll print more money because we don't have money. South Africa doesn't have money. I don't. Everybody keeps on saying, "Oh, just give more money, just give more money." From where? Where the hell are we? We are. Our GDP is in the gutter. Like, it is at its lowest point it's ever been. Like, I don't understand. Like, we don't have a good economy. We've been downgraded 3 times. I don't know what the correct term is, but like we were at junk status at one point. Then we went to junk status even more. Where are we supposed to get the money from? And then people saying, "Oh, we'll print more money." Are you insane? Do you not know how this shit works? Examples like Venezuela, Zimbabwe. It worries me. It worries me a lot. So yeah. Eric, that's a funny one. Yes, it is Burkola, actually. I finished the actual drink and then I put Burkola in there. I'll show you. Oh, crap, no, it's not. Well, there's a Burkola thing. Wait, let me... Right, there's a Burkola. Wait. There we go. So I am drinking it. I actually don't like milkshakes, to be honest. Everyone's going to lose their minds now. Joe doesn't like milkshakes? What the hell? Guys, this is appalling. There are 13,000 people watching Ronaldo. Oh, here we go.
Are you still loading? Oh, just give it to me. Just give it to me. I need to use it to support.
Don't use your iPad again.
All right. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. We can roll? Okay. So the generals will be on both sides.
Awkward. I feel like it's one of those moments where a comedian says, "You know what, I'm going to go off stage, and then when I come back on stage, you guys must cheer." Oh, boy. Yep, here comes the Waffle Iron. I agree with that.
My fellow South Africans,
Fuck off.
good evening. Goeienaand. Sanbonani. Dumelang. Riperile. Limadekwane. Earlier today, I visited the areas of KwaMashu, Springfield, Mobeni, and Umlazi in KwaZulu-Natal. These areas have been sites of unprecedented violence and destruction over the past few days. The streets and buildings I saw bear the scars of looting and mayhem. But what is most devastating is the toll that these events of violence have taken on people's lives, on their livelihoods and sense of security. The human toll will take much longer to repair. It is clear now that the events of the past week were nothing less than a deliberate, a coordinated,
Here it is, guys.
and a well-planned attack on our democracy.
Make ANC look good.
The constitutional order of our country is under threat. The current instability and ongoing incitement to violence constitutes a direct contravention of the Constitution of our country and the rule of law. These actions are intended to cripple the economy of our country, to cause social instability, and severely weaken or even dislodge the democratic state.
Same here, Yanni.
Using the pretext of a political grievance, those behind these acts have sought to provoke a popular insurrection amongst our people. They have sought to exploit the social and economic conditions under which many South Africans live, conditions of poverty, of inequality and unemployment that have worsened since the onset of coronavirus pandemic, and to provoke ordinary citizens and criminal networks to engage in opportunistic acts of wanton looting. The ensuing chaos is used as a smokescreen to carry out economic sabotage through targeted attacks on trucks, on factories, on warehouses, and other infrastructure necessary for the functioning of our economy and the provision of services to our people. Through social media,
No, they won't do it.
through fake news and misinformation, they have sought to inflame racial tensions and violence. Worst of all, these instigators have sought to manipulate the poor and vulnerable for their own benefit. Yet, despite the widespread destruction, this attempted insurrection has failed. It has failed to gain popular support amongst our people. It has failed because of the efforts of our security forces, and it has failed because South Africans have rejected it and have stood up in defense of our hard-won democracy.
What did I tell you before the stream?
I saw the determination of our people in defending their democracy in action as I walked through the streets of eThekwini. And many of us will have seen how many of our people across various parts of the country have done exactly the same. I saw people cleaning up the streets, rebuilding their lives, standing together, united in their diversity.
Without your help.
Young and old, men and women, black and white. They were grateful for the support of the security forces and made it clear to me that they stand united and will work with the government to restore stability.
We had no choice.
My fellow South Africans, since the outbreak of this violence, at least 212 people have lost their lives. Of these, 180 have been in KwaZulu-Natal and 32 in Gauteng.
Blood which is on your hands.
The South African Police Service, led by Commissioner Stolle here, is investigating 131 cases of murder and have opened inquest dockets in respect of 81 deaths. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of those who have lost their lives to this senseless violence. This is a pain that no family and no community should have to endure.
Where were you, sir?
Since the unrest started, the National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure has recorded over 118 incidents of public violence, arson, looting, and other unrest-related instances. These incidents were concentrated in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. Since the height of the unrest on Monday and Tuesday, there's been a sharp decline in the number of incidents, and calm has returned and is returning to most of these areas. Over 2,550 people have been arrested in connection with the unrest, and special arrangements are being put in place to ensure that these cases are prioritized. The destruction of property and theft of goods has cost businesses, consumers, and the country as a whole billions and billions of rands. According to preliminary reports compiled by NetJoins, extensive damage has been caused to about 161 malls and shopping centers, 11 warehouses, 8 factories, and 161 liquor outlets and distributors. This does not include the damage caused to the roads and other infrastructure. Fellow South Africans, as this government, we must acknowledge that we were poorly prepared for an orchestrated campaign of public violence, destruction, and sabotage of this nature.
Your fault.
While we commend the brave actions of our security forces on the ground, we must admit that we did not have the capabilities and the plans in place
Oh, what are you going to
as
blame
this
this
happened to respond swiftly and decisively.
on? What are you going to blame this on?
Our police were faced with a difficult situation and exercised commendable restraint to prevent any loss of life or further escalation. However, once additional security personnel were deployed, they were able to quickly restore calm to most areas that were affected. Once this crisis has passed, we will undertake a thorough and critical review of our preparedness and response to incidents such as these.
Okay.
For now, our priorities are, firstly, to stabilize the country, secondly, to secure essential supplies and infrastructure, thirdly, to provide relief and support recovery and rebuilding.
Where are you getting the money?
Fourthly,
Where are you getting the money
to
from?
encourage the active efforts of citizens in defense of their lives, livelihoods, and democracy. To stabilize the country, we have massively increased the numbers of law enforcement and security personnel on the ground in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. And we are also spreading them around to other parts of the country. I have authorized the deployment of 25,000 members of the South African National
Not
Defence
enough.
Force, led by General Mapwanya, to support the work of the police. Of these, 10,000 are now on the ground, while the remaining forces are arriving in their respective areas of deployment over the course of this weekend. Steady progress is being made to secure our logistics infrastructure. The N3 freeway, which faced enormous challenges and difficulties between eThekwini and Gauteng, has been reopened, and security forces are in place to keep vital supply routes open. The security forces are working with business to ensure the safe transport of fuel, food, oxygen, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, and other critical supplies. Operations at the ports of Durban and Richards Bay are being restored to enable the resumption of exports and imports. Regulations have been issued in terms of the Competition Act to enable firms involved in the supply of essential goods to share information about the availability and demand for certain goods. This is to help prevent shortages of essential goods and promote the equitable distribution of scarce essential goods across the country. These measures will ensure that supply chains remain intact. I want to emphasize that there is no shortage of food or supplies in most parts of the country. And there is therefore no need to go on panic buying, because doing so will only worsen the situation. In addition to supporting the police in maintaining order, South African National Defence Force members have been deployed to key installations to protect them and commercial sites that are vital to the functioning of the economy and the uninterrupted provision of services to our citizens. Specialized units of our law enforcement agencies are working round the clock to locate and apprehend those responsible for planning and coordinating this violence. We will spare no effort in bringing those individuals to justice. I want to repeat, we will spare no effort in bringing those individuals to justice. My instruction to the Commissioner of Police and his officers is very clear on this. There have been calls from several quarters for the declaration of a state of emergency to contain this violence and destruction.
Don't do it.
These calls are understandable,
He's not going to do it.
given the levels and extent of disorder. Our view, and my view, has been that a state of emergency should only be declared when all other means of stabilizing the situation in our country has shown to be inadequate.
See?
A state of emergency would allow a drastic limitation of the basic rights contained in our Constitution, which no responsible government would want to do unless it was absolutely necessary. For now, it is our firm view that the deployment of our security forces, working together with communities and social partners across the country, will be able to restore order and prevent further violence. We will extinguish the fires that are raging, and we will stamp out every last ember of this fire. We will identify and act against those who lit the flame, and those who spread it, and those who are still attempting to spread it. We will find those who have instigated this violence. They will be held accountable for their deeds, because we will not allow anyone in our country to destabilize the country and to get away with it. And we will not allow any person or any group, whoever they are, to challenge the authority of our democratically elected government. Because this is in the end a challenge to the people of South Africa. While our security forces are steadily establishing control on the ground, the effects of this violence will be felt by all South Africans in the days and weeks and months to come. I met a number of business leaders during my visit in KwaZulu-Natal, together with the Premier, Minister of Police, the Minister of Defense, and the Minister of State Security. And the business people told me that it will take them a few months to restore their businesses. The damage that has been done to vital economic infrastructure will, as they told me, take time to repair. This in turn will have an impact on the availability of food, fuel, medicine, and other supplies, not only in South Africa, but across the region. The violence and destruction has done enormous damage to our economy at a time when we are struggling to recover from the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. it has destroyed businesses and will undoubtedly lead to further job losses. Ultimately, it will also deepen poverty and cause even greater hardship to millions of South Africans. The widespread looting of the past week is likely to fuel a further increase in COVID-19 infections. These events have also disrupted our COVID-19 vaccination program in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, just as it was beginning to gain momentum. Now it is imperative that we should take further steps to provide support to households and to help businesses to restock and to rebuild. We're in the process of providing immediate food relief to households. Earlier, I received a call from Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who was telling me about the situation in Ulundi. And we immediately promised him that we will be taking steps to ensure that the people who are lining up in Ulundi after the destruction of shops in Eshowe and other areas nearby had resulted in the shortage of food, and they were now lining up in Ulundi. We are attending to this even tonight as we speak. We are targeting areas affected by the looting and where people have no access to food. Provincial departments of social development and SASSA will use their remaining budget in the social relief of disaster program to provide support in the form of food parcels, cash, and food vouchers. We're working hard to bring all SASSA offices into operation again. Cash points are expected to resume services from the 19th of July in all areas that have been declared safe to operate. To assist with the immediate needs of affected communities, the Solidarity Fund has established a humanitarian crisis relief. Mrs. Gloria Sirobe informed me, as chair of that fund, that they aim to assist those in greatest need at this time. We are calling on all South Africans to support this fund. We appreciate the support of the many companies, the organizations and faith-based groups that have already started providing support to families in distress. Social partners have been meeting to discuss a range of measures which can be implemented to provide immediate relief within our fiscal means. This includes the provision of emergency food relief and other assistance to those in greatest distress. We will also help our small businesses, including assistance to those in greatest distress. We will also help our small businesses, including those in townships and rural areas, to heal the damage they have suffered. Our business people provide important goods and services in our communities, and we will help them to rebuild their businesses. A team in the Presidency and the National Treasury, as well as those who are leading the economic cluster in government, are hard at work to develop a comprehensive support package for Cabinet's consideration. We will be in a position to make a further announcement in this regard soon. In the short term, it is essential that we get the vaccination program back on track as soon as possible, and no effort will be spared in that regard, as we are now in a position to have more vaccines available so that this program can speed up. My fellow South Africans, while calm has returned to most of Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, the threat to our country and to our democracy remains present and real. Those responsible for organizing this campaign of violence and destruction have not all yet been apprehended, and their networks have not yet been dismantled. But we know who they are, and the police are on their tracks, and they've already identified them. We must therefore remain vigilant and resist any efforts to incite further violence. We welcome the unwavering support from religious, traditional, political, party, labor, and business leaders, many of whom I met during the course of this week. We applaud those individuals, organizations, and communities that have taken the initiative through peaceful means to restore calm and protect lives and property and infrastructure. We thank all those people who have remained at their posts under difficult and dangerous conditions, providing services to our people and our nation, the law enforcement personnel, health workers, social workers, security personnel, municipal employees, and many other frontline public servants. We also thank the journalists of our country who have been reporting on these events and bringing the news to South Africans as they've been unfolding, helping to ensure that South Africans are informed and empowered.
You're welcome, Cyril.
And I've watched many of them getting into very dangerous situations so that we may all be informed. We call on communities across the country to work with the police through community policing forums.
Because you have no choice.
We have found that these policing forums work extremely well, particularly at a time like this.
Yeah,
And many of them have been functioning to good effect. No person should take the law into their own hands. We must guard against vigilantism and anything that could inflame tensions, racial or otherwise, further. We call on all South Africans to encourage calm and restraint, to desist from sharing false information, and to report any incidents of violence to the police immediately. Any incidents of people who seek to loot or to disturb the peace. By doing these basic things, we can all work together to protect our country. This coming Sunday, South Africans will join people across the world in celebrating Nelson Mandela Day. As we reaffirm our commitment to our democracy and remembering the father of our nation, Nelson Mandela, let us use Mandela Day to provide food to the most vulnerable in our society, to clean up our streets, and to start the task of rebuilding. My wish is that this cleaning up campaign that has been sparked off by cleaning up the mess of this violent week can become a continuous process in our country where we all work together to clean up our country so that we can emulate other countries, even on our continent, that have clean streets, where people work together on set days of the month, of the week, to clean up their neighborhoods, to clean up their country. This is a moment that I would want us to use to begin this culture of cleaning up the areas where we live. While security forces are essential to restoring order and stability, this assault on our democracy will ultimately fail because the people of South Africa will not allow it. If we stand together, no insurrection or violence in this country will succeed. We are engaged in a struggle to defend our democracy, to defend our constitution, to defend our livelihoods and our safety. This is not a battle that we can afford to lose. When we look back on this moment in our history, let us say that we faced down a grave threat and defeated it. Let us bear witness to the strength and the endurance of our democracy, not its downfall. Let us speak of the triumph of our Constitution, not its destruction. We will never allow this great project of humanity that is so lauded and praised all over the world, our South African democracy, to fail. Lastly, I wish to pass condolences to some South Africans who have passed away in the recent past few days. Inkosi Mahlangu, the chairperson of the National House of Traditional Leaders, passed away. Tsepo Chola, one of our most outstanding artists. Dr. Ben Ngubane, former KwaZulu-Natal Premier. Aubrey Mokoena, who was the head of the Release Mandela campaign and a former MP, passed away. Kehla Mthembu, a leading businessman and a friend. Dr. Sam Gulube, the former Secretary of Defense, just recently retired. Jeff Makubu, Mayor of Johannesburg. Dr. Vengard Mkhosana, the former Director General of Labour. Michael Zuma, the younger brother of former President Jacob Zuma. We pass our condolences to their families, and may they all rest in peace. May God bless South Africa and continue to protect her people. I thank you.
All right, don't go anywhere, people. For those of you who are listening, I'm going to give my thoughts on this speech. But before I do, please, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit that like button. All right, so I made some notes while I was watching because, you know, I don't like to commentate too much on what is happening. I only say something if I really feel it's necessary. But other than that, I decided to make a few notes to give my thoughts on the BS that we just watched. Now, the only thing I agree with them is giving condolences to the lives lost, because over 200 people lost their lives from this, from the events that happened over the past week, and it is very sad. I feel that is collateral damage instigated by certain people, and like I said, I have theories, as I explained at the beginning of the stream, and yeah, nobody. I don't think. I think it's way more than that. I really do. But I blame the ANC for it. I really do. Now, first things first, state of emergency. I told you they won't do a state of emergency, at least not now. They need to uphold the image that they have in the international community or with international countries. And this is exactly what this speech was about. Coming out and looking strong. He had a member of the army. He had the police commissioner, I don't know who it was, next to him, showing force. And notice how when he spoke about the instigators, how serious he was. Almost like a warning, we will find you. Almost like that Taken moment, like, I don't know where you are, but I will find you, and I will kill you. Like, it felt like that kind of moment. This was nothing but a show of strength as to show that he still is in control. But there's a lot of questions here, and I saw some of you asking these questions. You know, why were you late, Cyril? Why did Bekitele take so long to say anything, to do anything? Why did you take so long to do anything, say anything? People were burning, like, I mean, everything. Trucks were burning. Malls were burning, roads were burning, everything was burning. South Africa was burning for 2 days before you came out and said anything. You'd actually left the country for most of that time, by the way. You didn't think for a moment to come back and be like, oh crap, my country's on fire. Sorry guys, I gotta go. No. You came back and you still waited to say anything, and you gave a lousy speech, and you gave a lousy speech again. Your speech now is only about you trying to hold face, trying to make sure that nobody sees you as a weak president. And I gotta say, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, you might have some simps for Cyril. Shout out to that Twitter page. Some of your simps are probably right now, like we're probably going to see News 24, Cyril Ramaphosa came out and was majestic. Cyril Ramaphosa takes control. Cyril Ramaphosa says the calm begins now. Cyril says we must rebuild the nation. Cyril says democracy was under attack, but we will prevail. Those are the kind of headlines you're going to see tomorrow. From ENCA, from News 24, IOL, the media propaganda machine is going to be well-oiled and well in place so that the ANC can swoop in now and look like the heroes. We've caught the bad guys, guys. We're looking for them. Don't worry. We got this all under control. And we will help the people that have lost so much. How? How, when the economy is in the gutter, when you have no money? I'm very interested. Notice how he didn't explain completely where the money was going to come from. He said, I think he mentioned one of the solidarity funds. Okay, that's not a lot of money in there. What's going to happen now is the community is going to come together again and help one another. It's already been happening. I've seen some of my friends gathering food parcels and other things for their fellow family that is in KZN and in Gauteng. It is the people that came together during this week. It is the people that stood together to protect their communities. Alongside SAPS, yes, but SAPS needed them. SAPS was nowhere to be seen in most of these places. The army was nowhere to be seen in most of these places. You left the citizens completely alone because of the failures of the ANC, and it is only the fault of the ANC that is what happened this past week. You choked the economy, you choked the civilians, you had a boot on their neck, and they reacted, and a lot of people were opportunistic about the events that happened. So yes, I do think there were some orchestrated attempts. I do think there were some people that were trying to do an insurrection or something to that effect. You saw an opportunity and you went for it. And now, because you know your numbers are down, you're trying to come in like the hero so you can get those votes again. And I'm sorry to say this, guys, but you know what? It might actually work out. Because the truth of the matter is, at the moment in South Africa, there are more people on social grants than there are people that are employed. So ANC is very good at buying their votes. And that should scare a lot of people. And if you don't believe me, check out Center for Risk Analysis, or IRR. They do a lot of polling and research on this topic. Notice how he didn't mention Zuma. Notice how he didn't mention that name once, but he knows and alludes to it. That is a very telling thing, and I'm not sure what to make of it. He said we'd be feeling this for months to come. Again, the fear. Some of the fear. We're going to feel this for months, guys. We're going to feel this for months. And Sunil said it's, who's going to get the tenders, Who's what, like at the beginning of COVID, we had, people donating money for relief funds. It's going to happen again. They're going to donate money again. And guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? I don't have to say it. We've seen this play out before. You got to ask yourself as well. Remember, I mentioned that cigarette ban and how much money they could have made allegedly. I don't know. But something's fishy about that ban. And they made a lot of money. I'm sure of it. I can't prove it, but I've got a gut feeling with this one. And I am starting to think that maybe this is all of it. All of it is funded by that. All of it. Everything. This is all part of the plan. Nothing is by accident. Opportunities were created and they took advantage. He says there's a calm now. I don't know. As far as I can see on social media, things are still burning. Maybe not as much as they were earlier in the week, but they're still burning. And there's still some alerts going out. Not confirmed, but people are still scared. While you focused on trying to make it sound like the ANC was there for the people and working together with the people, and use the people again to paint a better picture for the ANC, you have shown that you have no spine, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. You have shown that you are a liar. And yes, I will say that loudly and proudly. And this was nothing but a PR stint. It was felt like the CEO of a company coming out that had recently been accused of some weird allegations and quickly comes out to say, no, guys, we got it all under control. We found the people that did this. It's okay. There's an investigation. Everybody, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. We got it all under control. All right. Well, the next week is going to be very interesting. Because I think that if there is more rioting next week, we're going to be in big trouble in the next week. I don't know. It's hard to tell at this moment. Every day that this has been transpiring, I've been going back and forth with a lot of things, but I have no doubt, and I am certain of it more than ever right now, that this is all about elections and making sure that the ANC stays in power. And remember that. Look at it through that lens, and you'll see the lies. Anyway, I don't want to keep you guys any longer. It is a Friday evening, so I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I will be back on Monday evening chatting with Rob Hutchison from Dear SA. We had to move our interview from last week. We moved it to this week. So please tune into that on Monday evening and stay safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. Please, please, please stay safe and share this stream if you want to. I am going to be snipping the beginning parts of the stream and releasing it separately. So if you want to share that and you see it on my channel, please share it. The theories that I think of what is going on. So, yeah, apparently he did mention Zuma. I didn't catch that. Sorry. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Deborah, by the way, for the super chat. It is greatly appreciated. I almost forgot to thank you, and I didn't. Thank you so much for the super chat. What a lousy week. God bless our winemakers. Absolutely. Where would we be without the winemakers? So thank you so much, Deborah, for that super chat. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Once again, I'll see you Monday. And if I don't see you before then, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.